Hello, dear community, and very welcome to our innovation and AI talk with Kyndryl, a fascinating company, an IBM spin-off, one of the largest mission-critical infrastructure companies, and the largest startup of the world. And we'll hear about that, why is that the case, and about their really fascinating transformation started 4 years ago, I think. With me in studio, Petra Goude, President Strategic Markets. Petra, very welcome.
Thank you so much. Lovely to be here.
Lovely to have you here. And very well known, Steffen Lange, Customer Unit Leader for Austria in your new role. Congratulations and welcome to our studio again.
Thanks, Dejan. Thanks for having us.
And welcome to Kyndryl.
And welcome to Kyndryl. We had the opportunity to talk for 5 minutes now before we started, and I'm hyped. I'm hyped for this story. Petra, I kind of jokingly said the largest startup of the world because you guys call yourself like that, and then you explained me why, and I thought to myself, they really are the largest startup of the world. Can you explain this for our audience, why?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, so I tell my team and all of the Kyndryls, we've been given the career opportunity of a lifetime. So we got the opportunity to spin off these fabulous people and to create a new company. And so what do we do? Because we're not super known everywhere. So it's very likely when you swipe your credit card today, or when you book the flight, or when you ship the package from somewhere, that those systems are run by Kyndryl.
Okay.
So any systems that's really mission critical, that cannot have a bad day, a bad hour, or they can't even blink, those are the systems that our teams run. So that's what we do every day. So that's how we think about ourselves. You wake up every day and you make sure that the world runs.
And you started building the product, you started your activity within IBM, and then did a spin out of it.
Right.
How was that journey, and how did it feel? You're one of the founding members, so to say, founding partners of the company.
No, it's been amazing. So yeah, this was a unit within the IBM company. It was called Global Technology Services, and IBM determined it would be better to unleash the power of this team to really be on its own and be the strategy. So this was a part of a company, and now it became the strategy. So when it was spun off, we get to create a new brand, but more importantly, we get to tell all of our fantastic people, you are the strategy. What you do is what's critical for your customer and what's mattering to the world. And seeing that team stand up straight, stand up tall, really unleashing that power. And it's been a lot of investment in skills and talent because we are a people's company. Yeah. That's what we do. Someone asked me the other day and said, Petra, people is one important part of what Kyndryl is. I said, respectfully, you're wrong. It is the important thing because we are a people business. So it's been an amazing journey. It is still a transformation. You don't create something that big in 4 years. Fundamentally, the number one thing we've been working on is how do you transform and create a culture that's founded in people and completely anchored in our customers. So that's what we do.
We'll deep dive into that. Just one question out of my curiosity. How did it feel like the first day after the spin-off, and what was the task there? Was everything functioning already, or what was the work to be done?
Oh my goodness. So I will never forget the day. So I was in a car, I'm Swedish, I was in a car in Sweden outside a customer meeting, summoned into a call with the senior executive team where they announced that this unit was going to be spun off. And I was sitting there thinking, what do I do now with all of my many thousand people that I was going to help transition? And there is no guidebook to do this. Okay, so we had to learn when we were going. But really, I tackled it, and I think most of us tackled it with a big degree of empathy. Number one was our customers. Number one was our people. And then you worked through the motions. And of course, we were still in IBM between that October timeframe and when we actually launched on and got listed at the stock exchange in New York in November. So a lot of motions happen. First, you figure out what you have to do. Then you start working with your customers and how that's going to be taken care of. Most important thing, helping the people. What does it mean? You're becoming an employee of a new company. What is that going to look like? A big pivot moment for us was in round and about April timeframe when we actually launched our brand. Because before that, we were under a label called Newco. And when we became Kyndryl, everyone had something to be proud of and latch into. And from there, it's been a most amazing journey.
Fantastic. And this is the journey that Steffen is joining as well. Obviously, you have a fantastic track record behind you. Why did you choose Kyndryl now?
Well, it's an interesting time to join Kyndryl. Look, I've been at the forefront of enterprise software and AI now for 2 decades. But I also saw a large opportunity in the market around the evolving trends around AI, hybrid cloud, and things like that. And also what I experienced in the market talking to other executives was they are kind of hindered by not having modernized their IT applications, not being capable of utilizing all the opportunity around AI and things like that. And that's where it's not only about technology, it's also about people. And that was exactly what Petra was just referring to. And I saw that Kyndryl has an excellent reputation in the market. We've got long-standing relations with our customers, you know, not only for months, but for years or decades. And they rely on us. And that's why I'm here. You know, I want to utilize this opportunity in the Austrian market. I think we are kind of the technical resilient backbone of enterprise customers and companies. And I want to utilize this opportunity and kind of be a pace setter for the Austrian market to, you know, build on this backbone and innovate. And we have got great capabilities in, you know, areas around security, AI, IT transformation. Maybe we can talk a little bit about that as well.
Yeah. Especially since you did your own IT transformation as well.
Yeah. So just tap into what Steffen is saying. It's a really unique time to be Kyndryl. Okay. And yes, okay, I realize I'm biased, but I'm very passionate. I'm very passionate about this. So the world, there's 2 big things happening in the world. So one, there's a big shift, and it's a lot of volatility in the macroeconomics.
Yeah.
That's all of us know that. It's just a change that's happened before, but that's one lens of things that are happening. The other big things that are happening is AI. And AI is the biggest technology shift since internet. There's been a lot of other technology shifts, and with great respect to all of us in the industry, you know, cloud was big, but that was a difference of compute. It was different how we were thinking. AI can transform the world. So both those things together means that every company has to be more competitive. That's ultimately what all of our companies has to be.
Correct.
And to be that, you have to transform your core. It is no longer enough to transform your front end. And candidly, a lot of them, and a lot of us have already done that because COVID helped accelerate the front-end component. So now we need to make sure we can produce products faster, change our processes in a more agile way, be quicker into the market, be quicker to retract things. And to do that, you need to really transform the mission-critical components. And that is where Kyndryl is unique, because that's the depth of skills and capabilities we have. So we are here to help unleash that.
Fantastic.
That business problem and enable the world and the companies to move faster. So I'm really excited about I'm not necessarily excited about the volatility that's happening, but how we can help support that with the skills that Kyndryl has. So that's what Steffen has walked into.
Can you help me understand, how do you tackle that? Because we obviously have the legacy systems and they need to be modernized. Then we have AI capabilities that only develop their potential if I have my core data and systems under control. So how can you help companies modernize in this minute?
Yeah. So it really starts with the core, right? First, you need to understand what is it that you want to do.
Yeah.
Right? And I like to think of us as the pragmatist. We come to every solution and problem statement on a workload by workload basis. We really believe that, you know, and we see 3 patterns in modernization. So when you think about a big, large estate, and you might have your monolith legacy system, you might have your cloud systems, the world has gone hybrid. Just a year ago, I went into any CTO or CIO who said, I'm going all cloud. I have not heard that phrase in a year. It's all around, how do I get the most out of my hybrid system? So for some of the workloads or applications, right, it might be just about optimizing it. They might be good, they might be right in the way there is. You just want to get them faster, cheaper, better. That's optimization. For a second set of workload, it's all about how do you enhance them. Typically, that comes to all around data. How do you create a better integration of that data, particularly in the world of AI, but how do you then know how you get more out of that data? So it's all around how do you enhance those applications and the techniques you use to make that modernization journey. And then you will inevitably have part of your application stack or workloads where you say, no, it's a business process reinvention. I need to change it end to end. And to give a concrete example, we were working with a utility company in the UK, whereby they, obviously, like everyone, has a lot of solar panels and people that want to sell their energy into the grid. The grid was built historically to produce grids out or energy out, not to accept, right?
Yeah.
So there were no sensors. So there was more people wanting to sell in than demand that wants going out. So in that case, for that particular workload, it was all about reinventing the process so that there could be a balance and no waste of energy. So really, the way we think about modernization is tackle the overall what the outcome you want to have, and you do it workload by workload, and you take. And it's a never-ending process because you're never done.
You're never done, and do I get that correctly? It's not necessarily replacing the legacy systems. It's optimizing them. Okay.
It could be.
It could be.
It could be. For some companies, it could be replacing the legacy system because they don't serve the purpose. For other ones, right? So I, take mainframe as an example. I often get the question, isn't mainframe ever going to get out of here? But it's really not the question. The question is, what do you want your workload or your applications to do? What benefit do you want to have out of it? And are you running it on the right platform? If you have a core banking systems, it's probably a great platform. But if you happen to run an old built HR application that's been there forever, it's probably not the right platform. So let's move then that part of it off the platform. So it's really down to the business outcome you want to drive, not a philosophical view of what's right or wrong.
And I believe that highly relates to the Austrian market as well. If you look at the Austrian market over the last decades, we've been building companies, very successful organizations, pioneers in their industry, and they're all based on a very solid technical foundation, and that's all great. But now, the last couple of years, we've been swarmed with all the new technologies, and of course, there's competition abroad, from other continents, and they are leveraging these technologies, but they've all been built on a new tech stack. So these organizations in Austria now, they're facing this challenge, and I think it's the right approach if we think it more like a journey, and that's where we, Kyndryl, come in to partner with these organizations to transform, but iteratively, right? It should not be a big bang approach, and I think there are a couple of examples in the Austrian markets where these big bang approaches have not worked. And that's where we bring in our experts and we assess the situation, look at it holistically and see where the opportunities are. And they can be in very different areas, but that's how we tackle that journey together with our clients.
I mean, many of the big data projects roughly 10 years ago got stuck somewhere.
But the data component is super interesting, right? And especially today, because if we think about most of our boards, most of our senior executive teams wants to talk about AI. And AI is obviously the accelerator and the innovator, but the crux of the matter is the data. And I was in the software side of the world, of the tech world, when master data management was a big discussion item, but candidly, very few tackled master data management. Through the years, it's become an even bigger problem because right now, if you want to be successful with AI, the number one thing you need is good data.
Exactly.
If you put AI on bad data, you're only going to get very fast bad answers, right? So Kyndryl, because we are born in mission critical, the data always sits in the mission critical systems. So we do a lot of work with organizations and companies around how do you create your data platform, your data marts. How do you ensure you have lineage? Because if you want to use AI to optimize and automate internally, it's one thing. But if you want to use AI to the external world, it's really, really critical that you have data lineage and you understand where it's coming from. So unlocking that power is one big part of the modernization journey, and being able to do it without moving it from one place to another place is not necessarily a value. So how do you interconnect it so that you use the investments you've made over decades rather than throwing something away? Because none of us have time or money for doing that.
And at the same time, we need to make sure that nothing breaks, right?
Yeah.
Because transformation is mission critical, and we need to make sure that in the back end, or the foundation is still solid and ready to innovate. We have
a series running as broadcasting since beginning of this year called No Hype AI, where we're looking into real-life use cases from Austria. And one of the big learnings is exactly what you said. First of all, you thought, okay, I just need to choose a good LLM, and then everything will be possible. But it's about really getting your Hausaufgaben, I want to say in German, your homework done in data.
Yes.
So is that what you see on
yes. So we just released what we call our AI readiness report.
Yeah.
So it was 1,100 organizations, all C-levels interviewed around AI and where they're at. And there was a few paradoxes in there, but one of them were the CEOs said, I'm all in on data, on AI. 73% of my organizations are going ahead on AI. But very few parts of my organization is ready.
That's the thing.
CIOs, however, said, no. Big part of my organization has embraced it. So it was a bit of a paradox between the different C-levels. But we found that 14% of the group, we call them AI pace setters. Mm-hmm. And there was 3 things they had in common. Okay. One, they went AI the entire organization. So they were thinking through how they were going to do AI end to end and empower it. But then you need to tackle your data. You need to make sure you think about the use cases. You need to make sure that you empower what's the business outcome versus fun to have.
Yeah.
Right? Secondly, they were tackling the skills gap. Mm-hmm. So if you want to succeed, you need to think about what skills you need. Mm-hmm. And the pace setters had really thought about both their internal skills, how they were empowering that, as well as using external skills. So the real combination. And thirdly, the biggest inhibitor on AI is ourselves. It is the organization holding back. What will happen with me? What will happen to my job? What will happen? And so the real successful AI pace setters have created an environment where the people feel that they're part of the solution and part of the human plus AI, not being displaced. So it's an interesting change. But it really comes down to what are the business outcome, but also daring to be bold to test. Mm-hmm. The world of AI, you can't work on perfection as some of us IT tech people are used to do. Mm. You have to co-create, you have to build and test.
And go.
And then go. Yeah. Because whatever we build today that's bleeding edge on agentic AI, tomorrow that's going to be nature. Because that's how fast this is learning itself.
How ready is the Austrian market for that pitch?
Oh, it's very much ready for it. Okay. Actually, yesterday I was on a internal call, where we showcased one example here locally from Austria. I cannot name the company, unfortunately, because we are still working on that project. But they faced the challenge you were just referring to, I believe, where they are having various software products in use. Utilizing all the various agents, and people are just overwhelmed. I can use this agent, I can use that agent, I can use that agent, but maybe that specific agent I'm used to using and utilizing cannot access the data of the other ones. That's where we're consolidating everything. Very interesting and very practical use case we are building here at the moment, here locally, actually in Vienna. Another company we're working with in the western part of Austria is that's all about the data sources you were just referring to. Consolidating 8 different data sources to build a solid foundation for AI use cases. And then me, it's also about rapid prototyping, right? You need to make sure that you get the return on these kind of projects. And it's very similar, I think, to what we've been doing for years. If I can refer back to the modernization you were talking about, we've been working with organizations here locally like Kyndryl, Mondi for years, and they understand Big Bang is not the right approach. We've been accompanying their journey for years, and transformation happens iteratively. And that's where I think the opportunity now is. No hype. It's about use cases and building really profound solutions with business value.
I mean, on the one side, the opportunity, but on the other side, probably a necessity as well. Because what is your estimate? You see clients globally. Mm-hmm. If we don't modernize, if we don't transform, we don't exist on that market anymore in 5 years, in 10 years. What's your prediction?
No, it's super simple. There's only one thing you cannot do.
Yeah.
And that's to stand still.
Yeah.
Anyone that thinks they can stand still is not going to make it.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and I don't think anyone is. I don't meet anyone. Wherever I go, I meet the sense of urgency. But it takes a different form and different shape. But to your questions around Austria, I mean, being Swedish, I know a lot about the markets in Europe, and the European market has one distinct challenge or difference to some of the other markets, and that's data sovereignty is a very big consideration in Europe. I see it a lot through my conversations here already with customers. Yep. I was in Switzerland 2 days ago and in Netherlands yesterday. So the combination of I want to move fast, but I also want to make sure that I have a data sovereign setup that matches the geopolitical environment that we have. And so that in itself means you have to go hybrid, and you have to make sure that you take the right choices so that you can have transparency and ability to move around.
Okay.
So Austria has always been known to be an innovative market.
Yes.
It is heavily created around both on your banking environment that ties straight into Eastern Europe. Your Central and Eastern Europe is a super strong point that Austria has. You have always been very innovative around industrial.
Yes.
So, my encouragement to anyone here is embrace it and make sure you move fast around it without being reckless.
Yes.
Okay.
Data privacy, of course, is highly related to security, resiliency, and things around that as well. You know, that's where we've been locally working with companies like Zumtobel, Merkur Versicherung as well, where we are really there to make sure that their insurance business is run stable, resilient, and fast. And if you don't make sure that you tackle all these and incorporate all these complex issues, then you won't be able to face the future challenges. And I think there's a big opportunity. And yes, of course, we've been talking a lot about the economical downturn in Austria, but still, there's a very solid foundation locally. And if we now embrace the new technologies and possibilities and make sure that we do it iteratively and nothing breaks in the back end, then I think they are future ready.
Yeah, I mean, that could be a final round of discussion. How can AI enable future growth? Because that's what we're looking for. It's a necessity for our markets and for our companies after recession to really keep growing. Will AI enable us?
I think AI combined with modernization, combined with a strong sense of security, will enable us to grow.
Yes.
Right? So every company, in my humble opinion, right, every challenge creates an opportunity.
Yes.
So if you tackle the challenges in a way that you take strength out of that and create the new solutions, you'll come out stronger. And so really leveraging the tech in the right way will create those new capabilities, new offerings, new abilities to be more efficient, be more automated. It's really coming down to how you combine the human brain with the AI. It is not the one or the other. And so we are it needs to be trustworthy. It needs to be done in a human appropriate manner, but human plus AI. But the way we think about it, where I think we are sometimes different, is because we come born from mission critical. Nothing that can break, nothing that it still has to work tomorrow or through the transformation. We can't just take it down. We think AI and security by design.
Okay.
So if you want to unlock your data, and that by design comes with you want to open up your data, you want to interconnect your data, that could mean security challenges if you come into it. So you need to think security by design, and not only just protecting, but also making it resilient. So you have a strategy around how your company is resilient. So if you couple those things, then I am convinced it will be an opportunity, not a threat.
And Petra was just referring to the mainframe report we were conducting a couple of months ago. And the interesting outcome I find out of that one is also that CIOs really see an opportunity in the mainframe and incorporate AI in the mainframe to be faster, to react faster, and to make it more stable. It's just a very specific example of, mainframe can also mean innovation.
Cool. By security by design, you also mean cybersecurity.
Yes.
Okay, so you tackle that as well when you deal with clients.
Yes, it's one of the biggest areas because again, if you run mission critical workload, you have to think holistically around security. But in our view, it is completely important that you protect yourself and you have the right cybersecurity strategy for protection. But it's even more important to have that plus your resiliency strategy. So that's how we think about security, because they come hand in hand. Because if something happened, you need to be resilient, and vice versa. So security, cybersecurity, security, and resilience is a really big area for us, and where a lot of our hearts is founded.
Do you only work with enterprise or also middle-sized companies? What's the client base?
So we work with middle-sized to bigger enterprises. We are a B2B company, so that's really where you will find us. We do also work with larger size of startups where they want help because they're growing fast.
Cool.
And then they need to have help to be managed and run. So our way we anchor around what we think about as run, transform, run. We help customers run their systems, we help them transform the system, and we keep running them. And really a spinning circle around it.
Looking forward into the future, after the transformation, the first 3 years after spin-out, do you think also for Kyndryl there's a lot of growth potential using AI, using the new technology? And then obviously what does it mean for Austria? But maybe on the global scale first.
That's why we're here. Okay? So we were born as a transformation company. So our first 3 years, publicly stated, was to transform. And we did that with really good outcome. Now, as we also publicly, we had our Investor Day back in November, very clearly laid out our growth strategy for the coming 3 years. So it's really all about how do we help customers accelerate their business outcomes and value in a better way. If you do that with customers, my humble belief is you'll get more work, and then you will keep growing. So for us, we are in a growth phase. We're hiring a lot of people, so if anyone is interested, please reach out for Kyndryl. So it's really great opportunity. I see it here. I'm very committed to the opportunity in Austria and Switzerland, which is also part of my Alps region, but globally. So it isn't, we see growth here and not here. It's really the unleashing of the power of Kyndryl and the teammates that we have. And now it's about how we help customers transform faster. And
this is one thing that I just wanted to ask you. Since in our interview now, often you mentioned serving customers, how to enable our customers. Is that the DNA that makes you successful, this focus on success of your customers?
Yes. So even the name Kyndryl, it comes from kinship and tendril.
Okay.
It's partnership and growth. So even as we founded our firm, we were in a fundamental belief that our customer is the center of what we do and the people is our heart. We call it the heart of progress. So it's really that centric. And if you're a services firm, everything you do has to be around your people and your customers. And that's where we want to have innovation. That's how we empower our people. So that's where we drive the innovation. We don't sit on an R&D department where someone comes in. We really empower it with customers and co-create. And then we take that benefit and skills and put it together. As one example, we've created and developed what we call Kyndryl Bridge. So Kyndryl Bridge is a platform, and moreover, it's the way we work. So whenever a customer works with us, they get Kyndryl Bridge, which is an end-to-end observability platform. So I can see a bank in Austria. I can go to that bank and say, hey, here's your metrics. But you know what? I run X hundred banks, and the best of breed is up here. I suggest that we need to fix this. Or flip side. So I can see across industries, I can see trends, and that's the added benefit. And it comes from that passion of how do you make the customers and the mission critical systems better.
Thank you for sharing this, because it's important to have this mindset of the globally most successful companies kind of inspire our culture as well. Next steps for Austria.
Well, look, yesterday I was in a customer presentation meeting. new logo, as we call it, new opportunity for us to work with them. They're facing exactly those problems we've just been talking about. And I was sitting there learning about their problems, and that's obviously, at the heart of what we are doing. I'm there to learn what the problems are. And at the end of the meeting, the CEO of that company came up and walked up to me and said, how long have you been with the organization? And I said, like 3.5 weeks. This is your team? I said, yes. You're very fortunate. These guys are experts. And I'm lucky to be here and utilize the opportunity with the team, because they've been around for quite some time. And we just need to make sure that we connect the capabilities we are having with our people, with our customers and their problems. And then we are all set up for growth and success in Austria. I'm looking forward to it.
Lovely, lovely ending. Thank you guys for taking time. I know have a very tight calendar here. Thanks for sharing this with us, and all the best for Austria and on a global scale.
Thank you so much.
Thanks
a lot.
Thanks, Jason.
This was Kyndryl today in a super, super exciting story. We'll obviously follow up on that. Stay tuned. Thank you for being with us today, and goodbye.